On Sex Positive Me, we explore all aspects of sex and relationships, ranging from fetishes and BDSM to ethical non-monogamy and LGBTQ issues. Sex Positive Me destigmatizes sexual practices and relationships while reconciling reality with myth and misconceptions. Our goal is to educate, entertain, and be advocates of sexual freedom. And now here's your hosts, Angelique and John Luna.
Hey everyone, it's Angelique Luna, and I'm here with my co-host, partner in crime, husband, madman, John C.
Official foot tickler.
Nope.
Yep.
That means you're admitting to a foot fetish.
There is no
Yeah,
foot
if you
fetish.
say you're a foot tickler, that's a foot fetish.
I enjoy tickling. I love the response, but
you
I'm
were
not.
like reaction, yes.
Yes, I do, but I'm not like putting your toes in my mouth. I'm not that I
no,
judge
no,
anyone
that,
who is.
No.
I'm just saying I'm not that type of foot fetish person.
It's still, you have to go and tickle them and touch them. Mm-hmm.
But I just love the response you give me.
Yes.
It's a good response.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're talking about a up-to-date and controversial topic. And that is, on Tuesday, March 16th, there was a shooting in Atlanta. 8 killed, 6 Asian women. One was a man, one was a new mom just getting a massage. Happened in 3 different locations. And the news is ripping all this apart.
Well, it's all over the board in regards to how it's being ripped apart. Is it a hate crime? Is it like a sex addiction? Or just a white man having a bad day?
And that's what he said. And that's what police said. He's having a bad day.
The friggin' police officer humanized him and had no sympathy for the people who lost their lives at all. It was more about the white man who was having a bad day.
Look, we can play this from a lot of different topics. We can say it was racially motivated, that
Totally.
It was Asian hate, which, considering what was posted in his Instagram, that's a possibility. We can talk about gun control, because that actually, he bought the gun that morning. Like, he started shooting people within 6 hours of getting his gun. But you know what? Let's put all that aside for a moment, and let's talk about the reasons behind him doing it, which is his
Temptation.
Sexual addiction. Which there is no medical recognition for the term.
Nope.
Sex addiction.
It has been scientifically debunked time after time.
All it is a convenient, what would we call it?
Catch-all phrase.
Yeah, that super evangelical religious people will use for being sexual. Sex addiction. You know, there's some things we do which are we do a lot of that are an addiction. No one tells me, and especially not me, that I'm eating too much. You're addicted.
Or I'm going to Starbucks too much and getting their teas.
Maybe.
Hey, I go for your coffees. I was not bringing your coffee into this program.
Look, all I'm saying is that if there's sex addiction, then we might as well have food addiction for anyone who eats, breathing addiction for anyone who does that every day. It's a load of freaking bullshit.
Yep.
So it's not recognized by any medical diagnosis. It's literally just poor sex ed and relationship education, and it's a catch-all term for right-wing evangelicals, which I don't have a lot of tolerance for.
I know, it's just so, like, all his upbringing, the articles that I have read about his whole friggin' church upbringing and purity culture and, you know, masturbation being a sin and bad. I'm like, why are we just trying to justify the sex addiction or his sexual desires and needs as bad because you have to be married to a heterosexual woman and the woman is supposed to fulfill all these needs and you're not allowed to have any desires whatsoever of pornographic or masturbation? I'm like, we're married. We've been together for 11 years. I still encourage you to masturbate. You encourage me to masturbate. It keeps a healthy...
I like watching you masturbate.
You know, it keeps a healthy
did that the other
mentality
day.
thing, you know? It's just, it's healthy. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, and the thing is, we're not saying that you have to like sex. If sex is something you're not interested in, hey, maybe your chemicals are off, or maybe you're just built that way that you don't like sex. But the point is, this is a group that specifically puts shame and guilt around having sexual thoughts. Not actually committing adultery or doing it, just for having the thoughts and masturbating is wrong.
Okay, but also wherever his little religious upbringing, because someone said Southern Baptist, someone said
Evangelical.
evangelical. I don't know which religious organization, but definitely not Catholic at this point. You know, they see women are not seen as people, but as the enemy who need to be defeated.
Well, they're
Seriously?
they're seen as servants, aren't they?
Yes, we're seen degraded. But even so, as Asian women, and let's go down the whole fetish size and, God, what's the other word? You know, seeing people just as a fetish, you know?
Right.
In regards to, oh, you know, so exotic, so pretty, and it's just, but they're not human. They are human. They have feelings. They have jobs.
They're people just like everyone else. Well, the thing is, he even Long even told police that his motivation was to eliminate sexual temptation, killing 8 people, one of which was two people receiving massages, laying on a table.
They were having a bad day that day.
That just pisses me off, that whole, well, he's having a bad day. A bad day means you go home and masturbate and can't find the porn you're looking for. It doesn't mean you kill 8 people.
Or you just grab a baseball bat and hit balls. You know, whatever it is, that's a bad day. You know, not going and killing people to eliminate temptation. No. And he was known to frequent those establishments too. So it's not like, you know, surprise, I think this establishment is going to give me temptation. He knows the temptation. He knows it. He battled with it. His roommate at the halfway house was having issues with him because every time he masturbated, he felt guilty and confessed his sins to his roommate.
He also was militant about it, and that's his roommate's words. Said he was a part of the evangelical purity culture, which teaches that sexual desires outside of marriage is sinful, and those who fail to control their lust are sex addicts. It's just another way to control people. It is such a load of crap. Well, this place, I got the name of it here, Hope Quest, where he was there at least twice, specializes in sex addiction, pornography addiction, and gay conversion therapy, which is illegal in so many countries. It's basically a group of people that don't want gay to exist and think they can torture it out of someone. They
could correct it. That's their version. But here's the funny part. One of the program directors I think it's program directors, consider himself ex-gay as he promoted conversion therapies. And 1 year after he left, guess what? Hi, I'm out of the closet.
He's fabulous.
I'm fabulous. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. You are what you are, whether religion wants you to be or not. And again, religion's a great thing. We're not knocking all religions. But when your religion says that, you know, the problem with you is your sexuality, from the bottom of my heart, tell them to go fuck themselves.
And enjoy it while going to hell.
Hell. Okay, so I found this. According to Reverend Jerry Dockery, this is the church he goes to, the evangelical church. Mm-hmm. According to their church bylaws, so this is in writing, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, bisexual conduct, bestiality, incest, polygamy, pedophilia, pornography, and any attempt to change one's sex or disagreement with one's biological sex assigned by God is sinful and an offense to God. Who the hell are these people that think they know what God wants and doesn't want?
Please, the Bible was written by several different men. We know this. It has been dissected and analyzed like a friggin' Criminal Minds episode. It's like these 4 guys told their side of the story based on their view wherever they were sitting to watch the show.
You know how much evidence there is that King James, who was the first person to take all of these scrolls and put them together in a Bible, he was the first person to create the organized Bible, had a super abusive mother and hated women.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Mary Magdalene probably went from a whole bunch of verses, to, yeah, she was there. And that was it. Anyway, we normally don't bitch and moan about this, but it's what it comes down to is this lack of sex ed, this idea that sex is something to be shamed about, something to feel guilt about. Even masturbation is something that we should hide, that this idea of purity and virginity is something to be valued. And it's a load of crap by people that want to control you and tell you what to do.
Well, that and the whole Asian hate crimes. I'm sorry. It's just, very demeaning. These people, a lot of it, they I don't know how to even translate that. They are brought in to United States, working these massage parlors. They're sex workers, sex educators. It's like some of them it's a choice, some of them it's not. But to go on a rampage and kill 6 Asian women because you have a bad day?
And dealing with religious guilt.
Religious guilt. And I'm just like, okay, if you want to date an Asian woman, go ahead, date. But by all the red flags that we're seeing, I don't think he could even have a conversation with a woman if he tried.
From everything I've seen, he's missing that education to relate and talk to women. I mean, everything I've seen and I've read about him, that, it's almost shown that women are taught to be used as things to possess and sex, as opposed to another person to relate to. And that's just sickening.
It is. It's very sickening there. In regards to like going on the bad sex education, there is someone online. Her name is Kim Anami. I cannot even pronounce it, but she's just a horrible human being that basically has her way of saying sex education is a white thing, honestly, because she has been really bad in regards to bashing BIPOC, so it's Black Indigenous People of Color, and came back with a video called Kung Fu Vagina. And a lot of us were very upset at the mockery of Asian culture and in regards to how she was just depicting, Asian stuff. And it was basically, she changed the lyrics to Kung Fu, that old song, that
Kung Fu Fighting
to Kung Fu Vagina. And it was insanely offensive. And then a lot of us voted our offense on it. And then next thing you know, she issues this so fake apology on the 10th.
That was sarcasm.
That was beyond sarcasm there, that she was just apologizing and saying all the haters out there were people that needed to be, that was unfucked. I'm like, excuse me? I think John and all my other partners fuck me very well. So I'm very fucked and very healthy. But the information she talks about, sex education, it's so vile and so detrimental and harmful. And she had another video a couple of months ago in regards to Blacks, and she, Cosmopolitan even did an article on it. And because of that, she actually took down the video making fun of Black people. And I'm just like, lady, you're just really screwing up sex education. And I mean, she has a lot of following. She has a huge platform. But I firmly believe it's a lot of QAnon and white supremacy people. Because it's just no. I'm like, no. Now, we're trying not to give her any more views to all this. So if you are interested, I am going to try to find the link of one of our Asian sex educators who did post the video. So Kim does not get any more ratings and views on this, because it's just absolutely atrocious what she does. And we don't want to give her any more comments or views or whatever. It's just, I just can't. I really can't. This woman is just so so vile. And like her claim to fame is that she has muscle tight vaginal walls. And it's like, and then some of her education, okay, I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. It's like, if you don't have tight vaginal walls, you're not having great sex. No, you can't orgasm. You need to have tight walls. Baby, what's your philosophy on this? What do you think?
I think I have great sex either way. I mean, you did have a treatment done, but I never thought anything was missing beforehand.
Exactly. You know, it's just like making people guilt and shame because they're not like the rest. And it's like, and the crazy part is there are people who pay over $2,000 for her workout. If anything, I'm promoting the shit out of Glamazonian, Tayomi, and her cowboy workout. Now that legit, we're all for that. But this girl, no.
Well, I'm looking through the review because someone actually videoed
the Kung Fu Vagina. Okay.
And this is on someone else's
YouTube channel. Yep.
And what I'm getting is she's deleting all the negative comments on that video.
Yep.
It's refreshing to see a new one pop up. Indeed, it was horrifying and appalled that she would have the audacity to block and delete comments and say what she's saying. I mean, it's just going down. Chinese people everywhere are angry just from watching this. It's extremely disrespectful to Chinese culture. Yeah, these... Well, they're... Yeah, the best one I see here. Pure, total racist.
Oh, absolutely. She's a pure racist bleep, 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 bleep. And it's very offensive and hurting, you know, biopic, honestly.
Well, the thing is, it's people, I don't know. All I'm going to say is it's back in the 70s, we did have offensive shit on mainstream TV, like All in the Family, which was hysterical, but at the same time did shit that you cannot get away with on TV.
Oh, no.
The stuff they did was completely racist. If you've ever watched a TV show called Soap, again, extremely racist.
Oh, come on. All
Billy
in the
Crystal
Family?
was in it.
Yeah. All in the Family, Soaps. What was the other one? Jefferson's? No, Jefferson's not so much.
Jefferson's was. No, Jefferson's was a spinoff from All in the Family.
Right.
But the point was, we dealt with that and the black culture. That hit in the 70s. In the 90s, we still had Living Color, which was, again, somewhat racy, but all of that went away after that. Mm-hmm. Okay? Socially, it was considered inappropriate, and it was therefore, you know, no longer on public TV. Mm-hmm. We've seen a little bit with the Asian culture, and I'm sorry, we'll go with, I don't know the term on this one, Asian Oriental, but it's starting, and there's still that racism though, like it's starting to heal. I think it's like the healing occurs in waves because we again, black people have had a long fight, Latinos have had a long fight against racism, and now Asians are as well.
Yeah. I think the correct term is Asian American and Pacific Islanders. Yes.
And I apologize for that one. I just, I see the racism. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be the first to say, as a white man, it wasn't till I married a Latin woman and I saw what happened to her side by side that I'm like, holy fuck, racism does exist.
Oh, it was very blatant. Like, if anyone doesn't know, the story is that I own a house. And so I was renting the house and the tenants destroyed the grass. So we decided to save some money and have myself, my parents, my brother, and my daughter, and John to redo the landscape and do the grass. And as soon as the next door neighbor came by, saw what we were doing, goes up and shakes John's hand. And it's like, oh, you're the new owner of the house. They had to literally hold me back because I was about to beat the living daylights out of the neighbor. Because Sean's name is nowhere near the house that I own.
Yes, it's your house.
Right.
But he assumed since everyone else was, not me, oh, you must be the owner.
Right. Because, a Mexican woman can't own a house.
Look, the point of it is, and I'm trying to keep this still on that sex positive realm, though, is there's racism in sex ed. That's a given. There's so much more sex ed and... what's the other big one? ASAC. We've been to a few ASAC conventions.
Right, but they're trying to get better. It's a slow evolution, but they're trying. Yes, the American Association of Sex Educators and Therapists. That's what ASAC stands for. And unfortunately, their qualifications to get their certifications, it's outrageous. It is like, I looked into it. One, you have to have a bachelor's degree. Unfortunately, I don't have a bachelor's degree, so I would have to go back to school and get my bachelor's degree. Two, then I have to do all the course accreditations to get the CEU credits to qualify, and then I have to have supervision, which will cost me an additional $6,000 to $12,000 based on the supervisors' rates, because they don't do it for free. You gotta pay whatever rates they're charging, and it could be like a normal counselor's rate of anywhere from $200 to $300 an hour. So they make it so unattainable for biopics to afford to even get the certifications. And if you're a therapist, holy cow, that's so much more. Because, you still have to get your license, your insurance, and your, all of those. It's a long, expensive path. And don't get me wrong, I don't knock it, but it's still predominantly white. I mean, biopics are slowly inching up to 10, 20% of the members, but it's still a slow, race. That's short for Black, Indigenous people of color biopic. Okay. That's what it is.
I've never heard that one before. Thank you for educating me.
You just see it and you know it, don't you? When you see BIPOC.
Well, I see the POC and I know that's people of color.
Right. So BI is Black, Indigenous people of color.
I have just never in my life seen that before. That's all.
You're not paying attention to my articles? You're not reading the stuff I give you?
Oh, I read everything.
No, you do not, because if you did, you would have seen that right away. See? You hear it first. You heard how much John does not pay attention to some of the stuff I give him. I didn't say all, some. Mm-hmm.
So, moving back, we have, again, a immature 21-year-old who, quote, was told he had sex addiction instead of just being told he has a normal sex drive, was given so much shame and guilt that now 8 innocent people are dead.
Those are the ones I think that had a bad day. Oh, and then to find another article that said one of the spouses of one of the dead was charged and arrested, and until he was released from jail, did not know that his wife was dead.
Why was he charged and arrested?
I can't remember all the details in regards to that. It was something so politically incorrect on so many levels, but I have to go find out that thing. But yeah.
Well, right now, it's not being charged as a hate crime,
which I think is bullshit.
And I think we need to go ahead and put some effort out there to change this, because we need to post about this. So, I mean, social media has some give to it, but if you live in that area, if you live in that just outside of Atlanta area, write to your congressman, write to someone and express your view that, and also tell them this is because of the culture, this evangelical purity culture is dangerous. This is again what I will say, a dangerous part of the Deep South, or actually dangerous part of anywhere. It is no different than ISIS radicalizing someone and destroying because what they do is, and they have a formula for this, and our military has seen it many times, as well as government agencies, and they've documented it, that there is a procedure to radicalizing someone into stripping them down as a human being to where they feel worthless, and then give them a goal, which is essentially not their goal, it's your goal.
Right.
And weaponize them. And that's exactly what happened with this person. Now, of course, by the way, the facility has closed lips, won't say a word.
No one's saying a word on it. Even the damn church, all the stuff. It's like they're just denying that they were even part of the problem or issue. But even his family has disowned him. And his family's the one who turned him in.
Yeah, his family actually made the phone call. Ooh, I have the list of events here. So he actually arrived at 4:00 and sat there for an hour inside his car. Then went into a place called Young's Asian Massage, of which, by the way, is a legitimate licensed massage institute. Their reputation has nothing to do with happy endings or illegal activity, so throw that out about they deserve it.
Yeah, no.
Walked in, killed 4 people. Now, that went on the air, and his family called in because they immediately recognized him. They had the guy didn't give a shit. They had the surveillance footage and had it on the news already. Now, within that time, he drove 30 miles away. Let's see what happened here. Because there was another shooting. I know one was across the street, and then he drove 30 miles away, did another shooting. And he wasn't caught until 8:30 at that night, 150 miles away, heading to Florida.
To continue his spree.
To continue his purification. Okay, bullshit. If a Muslim says, I'm going to remove temptation and starts killing people, it's a terrorist attack. But if a white kid does it, oh, he's just having a bad day. You know what? Fuck that sheriff.
Oh, come on. September 6th? January 6th? Everyone was having a bad day too. Come on. Nobody is getting charged with hate crime or terrorism, even though that's exactly what happened. It was white domestic violence terrorism. White domestic terrorism. That's what that was. But God forbid that they had the same protection during a Black Lives Matter protest, which I'm sorry, those guys are so much more tame, peaceful. They're always peaceful protests. And the ones who are creating the violence are the instigators or just like wanting to cause trouble. But like almost every Black Lives Matter protest has been very peaceful. But yet when one was supposed to happen at the White House a couple years or months earlier, I can't remember the exact dates, there was all this security, all this friggin', National Guardsmen, everything. So that place was locked down, shut. When this happened on January 6th, there was minimum. It was a skeleton crew. And it's just, I can't even tell what really happened on January 6th anyways, other than Trump says, march over there and say that whatever voting.
Take it by force.
Take it by force,
but
yes.
They even, for all the saying that, no, this wasn't conservatives, it was liberals and Antifa doing it. That's the Capitol. There are so many cameras all over the place which were reviewed, and the FBI came out and said, no, there is absolutely no evidence whatsoever of Antifa. Because you want to know why?
Because they were white?
No, because they tracked them down. They have them on camera. They tracked them down. They've arrested almost 300 people so far, and they will prosecute them. And I really hope they spend. I mean, attacking the Capitol and attempting to overthrow the country should be a minimum of 10 years, preferably 20, for these supposed patriots.
Exactly. Patriots, quote unquote. And I'm just like, wow. But even so, Trump even went after Pence. He says, go get after Pence. And I'm like, seriously?
Yeah, it is hard to go ahead and have a business partner loyalty relationship when he tries to essentially have you killed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, tells you about that relationship. And they still had 18 days to go afterwards. I was just like, holy crap. Talk about bad juju right there.
That sounds like a bad mafia movie. You know, where the couple hates each other, wants to kill each other, but are in bed together. So, oh well.
Oh, come on. There was better movies. I mean, what was the one with Bruce Willis and...
Till Death Do Us Part?
Yes, Till Death Do Us Part.
Oh, I was guessing on that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what you're looking at right now.
Look, at least I didn't say Hudson Hawk. God, that was a bad movie.
Oh, too many bad movies there. But do your part. Write to your Congress, House, Senate, politicians, everyone, to really push on laws that protect all of us. Doesn't matter what color or gender or sexual orientation or sexuality we choose. We need to protect each other, period.
Look, sex workers are people too, but sex education is something we all have. And this is a direct result
Of lack.
Of lacking. And again, sex is not just biology. It's relationships. And this person is so off, this 21-year-old that went out, bought a gun, killed 8 people. And, quote, did you hear how he sums himself up? On I think it was Instagram he wrote this. Pizza, guns, drums, music, family, and God. It's a pretty good life. Well, he didn't put being a spree killer on there, but that's what he is.
Yeah, a serial killer. Absolute hate crime.
Well, different. Serial killers are different. This is called a spree killer.
Oh, spree killer. Okay, yeah, I've heard that term about him, so I wasn't like too sure. But yes, no, he just needs to be offed big time. It's just no way.
Do you want to know what's funny as we're saying that? Do you know what the big difference between a spree killer and a serial killer is?
Criminal Minds, Law and Order. I don't know.
Serial killers are usually much more intelligent because they can go on with it for years.
Oh, that's true.
While a spree killer is like the ones who did who was the designer in Miami.
Oh, Giovanni Versace.
In 2 weeks, that guy killed 5 people.
Yeah,
he
rest
was
in
on
peace.
a killing spree.
Yeah.
And wasn't covering his tracks, wasn't trying to. Knew people were after him and just kept killing. That's a spree killer.
Just, yeah, anyone who came across his path, he just killed. Just no remorse, there was nothing, or what do you call it? What I want to say trends, but what is it that that they're just like
Trends, statistics, patterns.
Patterns. There you go. There was no patterns to it. For a serial killer, there's patterns.
Yeah, serial killers usually have a type.
Right.
And whether it's Jeffrey Dahmer actually went more after men.
Little kids.
There were serial killers that went after couples. The spree killer, like the one who killed Versace, killed his friend, killed his ex-lover, found a rich guy with a car, killed him. I mean, he went all over the place. His victims were all over the board. And they were all done in a very short period of time. And he was continually on the run from the first death, from the first murder.
Right. And they were not able to connect it until Versace's killing. Because then they were trying to figure out, okay, where they crossed paths, where's the history and all this stuff. So yeah, that's spree killing. So, but this guy just did the same. But it's very angry, because I'm Mexican and I go through my fair share of racism and hate crimes. But this is where, there was a bunch of Asian American sex educators who did like an Instagram and asking everyone to pitch in and help and voice and support, because this is insane that a lot of Asian hate crimes have happened this year and have gone unreported because they're not seen as humans. And it's unfair. It's totally unfair because I saw in an interview with, I think it's Daniel Kim, an actor, and he was at a polling place and he asked what are the percentage of Asian Americans voting. Can you want to hear what the friggin' voter person told him?
The voter registration person? Or?
Yeah, whoever was taking the votes. You're insignificant. So there was no percentage on Asian Americans because they were insignificant.
Oh, it's just...
That's uncalled for. I mean, they are part of it. I mean, they have contributed so much to our country. They helped build the friggin' railroads in the 1800s. They actually had an entire, what is it? Infantry. Just of Japanese Americans in World War II.
Interesting thing I will tell you, though, is when there were, in World War II, and I know this because my grandfather was in there were 2 wars, 2 fronts to the war, of course. Europe, and there was Japan. My grandfather, who was from Sicily, and all of his friends that were pulled into it were sent over to Asia because they didn't want him to be fighting against essentially his own people. So there was but it was worse against the Asians because, again, there was the internment camps. If you don't believe me, ask one of my favorite actors, George Takei. And he actually spent several years in a internment camp and lost his property. And look, the amount of racism going on back then during the war is, just right now coming over to where we are now. Yes, there was COVID. Yes, it sucked. Yes, it hit the whole planet. It's not an Asian flu. It doesn't.
It's not the Kung Fu flu.
It's none of that. It's all ignorant bullshit. It's a disease.
And this is the mess that Trump has left behind, and we're cleaning up.
Speaking on a better note, though, hopefully this week we'll be getting our vaccinations.
Yes.
Assuming things go right, but we'll see about that. But I do want to go ahead and bring up again that the inequalities are out there. Mm-hmm. That's a given. And I know this is off what our normal topics are. But there is a need that we need you, our listeners, to speak up, post it on your social media at the minimum. If you can, go on Twitter and find your congressperson, find your senator, and let them know. Send them a message on Twitter. They actually listen. And say that these type of crimes are not tolerated. Sex education, this is what happens when you don't have it.
Yes.
Immature adults that are armed.
And they just find whatever excuse to justify what they did is justified.
And for everyone who's calling bullshit, I have a daughter. You have daughters, right?
You have children. You have kids. Yes.
What happens when some immature prick decides to pick up a gun and get angry because they went out on a date and she didn't like him?
Right.
Or some crazy shit like that.
Or made fun of him, or they're just mentally imbalanced. Honestly, that's what boils down to, is also mental health. That we do need to have sex education and mental health resources here. Because maybe the guy was unbalanced. Maybe he was, dropped on his head too many times. I don't know.
No, I agree with you with the mental health.
Mm-hmm.
But get real mental health. Not an evangelical place that supports conversion therapy. That is not help. That's like going to a church to deliver your baby. No. Go to a hospital.
Yes.
Go to people who know what they're talking about.
I mean, go to qualified individuals. Please do your research. Guess what? We're in the time that Google could answer a lot of questions. Or you could find people who could answer those questions. But as we like to sometimes say, religion is not the best place to start.
Not when you're looking for science. Religion has a great place. Religion is great. It brings a lot of people hope. But if you're looking for a vaccine, don't go to the church. Nowadays, they might be giving it out. Especially
the church. Yeah, no, the church.
But
yeah.
You get my point.
Yeah.
If you need scientific information, if you want to know about your health, go to a doctor, a medically qualified and licensed doctor or facility.
Not to Guido, who's the local drug dealer on the corner who has a great chemistry set and is doing very well.
Well, if you're bringing up Guido, I'm bringing up the witch doctor. Oh,
Baba.
She's got a cold. Get me the chicken and the machete. We'll cure it with a sacrifice.
Oh, yeah. Actually, someone did something even funny, which is hysterical. It's like, women, ladies, you know how difficult it is to make the perfect eyebrows. So, someone made the video of like, okay, you measure your eyebrows. And then the next thing you know is you light a candle and you channel the queen Latina, Selena, to get you the eyebrows. And I lost it so bad because I'm like, does it really work? Because I will channel Selena just to get the perfect eyebrows. But, that's what we're saying. Find qualified
If I'm going to channel the afterlife, it's not going to be to get perfect eyebrows.
Hey, now you okay? I have to introduce John to Selena. So that's not the Selena right now from Disney. We're talking the original, the OG.
The one who was in the movie with Edward James Olmos. Selena.
That was Jennifer Lopez playing Selena. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I know the Selena.
Okay.
This white boy's got an education.
Still going strong. Still going. Well, your people also had some racism. What was the words that they use on you that I was kind of like, I never heard?
Okay. Racism has always been around. But if you want to go back to when racism was more than just the color of skin, my grandparents were all immigrants. And when coming over to the United States, of course, they went through Ellis Island, just like many other people coming over on boats, not airplanes.
From Europe.
Boats. And there was a sign, WOP. What it stood for was without papers. Now, when coming over here, most people from England had paperwork. Even Ireland, Scotland, Germans always had paperwork. Those are like genetically organized people, not to make stereotypes. However, Italy, if you go back to the 19th, 18th centuries, has had a lot of corruption, and it's a lot of poor places. I mean, Italy is beautiful.
It is. They're giving away land to the people who are Italian residents. That's why I'm trying to encourage John to get his citizenship.
She's trying to make me skip the country.
Yes.
But they were poor. So when they got on the ships and could afford it, they would come to the United States. And when they got off the boat, they didn't have any paperwork. Well, if you've just spent 2 months on a boat to get from Italy over to America, it's not like an airplane these days. They just can't turn you around and send you back on the plane and say, go home. They took them. However, they would, of course, have to catalog and organize and, put it in the paperwork where my great-grandfather signed to let us in to the country. And, WOP got shortened for WAP. And since they were so much Italians got known as WAPs. So it was a racist term for it. Interesting thing, though, is for a while, I can show you pictures. We can find them on Google. We're talking about the 1904 era, give or take 10 years. There was commonly signs up, Irish need not apply, because the stereotype back then were all Irish were drunks and violent. And that wasn't even a skin color thing.
No, that wasn't. That was just the immigrant mentality there.
Exactly.
So, funny story with the WAP story is that John is not familiar with the Cardi B and the I forgot the Megan Thee Stallion song WAP, and he was thinking
her name's Megan Thee Stallion?
Yes, her name is Megan Thee Stallion. So yes, he wasn't familiar with the WAP song, and he's like, why are they singing that song? It's like, it's wet ass pussy. No, it's not. It's like, so it was kind of comical because here he just explained what WAP means to him, and I had to explain.
Well, you started saying WAP, and I'm like, WAP, and you're like, no, it's WAP.
Yeah.
I got confused.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why there's the joke of the evening. John was not familiarized with wet ass pussy song. I was. You just said the new song WAP, and my mind's going WOP right
instead of WAP, and it never aligned. But no, you cannot live in this country and not know about wet ass pussy. Okay, it's even made it to Fox News. Not to say they liked it, but it's made it to Fox News.
Cardi B always is on Fox News for every other reason, so that's fine.
Well, if she wants to come on the show, I'd be happy to have her.
Fine. We will tag Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion to come on the show, and let's see.
We want to talk about white ass pussy.
It's not white. It's wet.
Wet. That makes much more sense.
Now you're racially stereotyping. God.
Well, for a moment, it actually didn't make sense because I'm like, I don't think it comes in albino. Okay, we're going off a wrong thing here, and I apologize if I offended anyone with my honest mistake. Wet ass pussy.
Because he's white. That's why. That's always my excuse for my husband, because he's my white boy.
So I think at this point, we're going to say thank you for listening.
Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything. We appreciate you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye and good night.
Hey, John, I want to get a new toy.
Okay, so let's go to Fair Villa.
But I don't want to waste time trying to find out what goes with what.
Well, there's Fair Villa University, and their staff is very well educated and helpful.
Okay, but how about if I just want to go to a party instead?
Then go to their website, because on their calendar they list all their events.
But I don't want to spend a lot of money.
Have you heard of their loyalty program?
Oh yeah, that thing on my keychain that makes everyone blush every time they see it.
That's the one.
Let's go.
Well, they have over 5 locations in Central Florida. Which one do you want to go to?
Fair Villa. For pleasure, fun, and fantasy. Thank you for listening to Sex Positive Me. If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and review us. You can find us on social media platforms at Sex Positive Me or on our website at sexpositiveme.com. You can also reach me on all social media platforms as Miss Angelique Luna.
And you can find me at John C. Luna. And if you liked content like this and want some more, please subscribe to our monthly newsletter. And thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.